Welcome to Big Bad.
We're best buds.
Break down the biggest bads. I'm Quentin,
And I'm Alan.
and today we're talking about the biggest bad of them all.
Wow, we peaked.
This is it. It doesn't get. It's downhill from here.
Yeah.
We're talking about Mr. Koopa, the king himself.
Bowser. We don't have to ping pong everything. You can just talk in normal sentences after the intro.
We're talking about probably the most classic of all the villain of villains, King Koopa, Bowser. Or
he kicked off video game villains.
Yeah, he made them cool. He made them popular. He made all the kids want to become one.
I'm not sure all the kids want to be Bowser. Want to be a giant fire turtle.
That's true. He was also like kind of low-key pretty scary and evil in the beginning. Like he wasn't like super zany.
Yeah, that's actually part of his thing, his arc.
But yeah, we're gonna be just kind of loosey-goosey chit-chatting about our boy Bowsy and I don't know, digging into his hopes and dreams.
Okay, before we dive into Bowser, we talked about having other segments on the show other than the main thing, and one of them was a segment that I wanted to call, I don't know if this is going to stick, but Am I the Big Bad? Where we talk about little evil things that we may have done and just discuss the little evil things that we all do from time to time.
Man.
And mine is kind of, are you, Quentin, would you consider yourself a good driver?
Am I gonna out myself?
No, it's fine. I mean, because I am not a very good driver. So I'm already going there.
I would consider myself a good driver. People say I drive like a grandma. I am a law-abiding citizen behind the wheel. I don't go more than like 3 miles over the speed limit ever.
Wow.
I take pleasure in blocking road ragers and going slow in front of them, which probably isn't great. That's not good driving, but
that's passive aggressive driving. I didn't
extremely passive aggressive.
I've heard of defensive driving and aggressive driving. I've never heard of passive aggressive driving. It's fun.
I'm a passive aggressive driver. Yeah, I think I'm a good driver. I'm not a Fast and Furious skilled driver.
No, yeah, no.
Yes,
but have you been in accidents much or anything like that? Or
I have been hit by a deer.
Whoa!
In the dark of night. That was not great.
I get jumped in front of you.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you hit it.
It aimed for me. It went after me.
Oh.
It was gunning for me. It left the road and saw me coming and said, "Hell no," and turned around and came back for me. And let's see, I've gotten, I think, 2 speeding tickets before, so that's not
okay.
great.
So you're a pretty average, normal.
I'm super
good
average
average
down the road.
Okay.
I'm just slow.
I'm a bad driver. I know this about myself. It's something that I've accepted, and I try to compensate for it by also driving like a grandma. Like I try to drive extremely carefully because it's like when you're this bad, like when you for me, it's not just like it's the responsible thing to do. It's like I have to drive slower because my brain won't process traffic fast enough. Like
okay.
It's like I can't. Like for me, it's like making up it's like a minor disability I'm making up for. It's like I have to slow down time for me to be at the pace of a normal person when I drive. So in today's segment of Am I the Big Bad, this isn't like a specific thing. It did happen, I think, yesterday, but it happens to me all the time.
Okay.
Do you accidentally cut people off all the time, or is it just me? Like where like I'll look left and look right and think that I have like enough like lane, and I will inevitably 10% of the lane changes I make and or turns I make end up being asshole turns, and every
10%'s a pretty big margin, my man. That's pretty often.
Maybe it's like 5%. Maybe it's like 1%. I don't know.
Okay.
Enough to where I'm constantly angry at myself. And I just think that the people who drive around me must assume, like, it just makes me think, like, whenever I do those things, like whenever I commit an act of bad driving, and I know the other person's like super pissed at me, because people like all the time like give me angry like gestures, not usually like actively flipping me off, but like the what the fuck man kind of like look at me. It just makes me think like how often when I've been mad at drivers, it's not been someone who's an asshole, but just someone who's trying. Some 34-year-old man, grown man who's trying his best to like just get by. And like I like so often, like every time it happens, first of all, I'm angry at myself. And then I'm also like, I bet this is most of the time I've been angry at people at driving. It's just been someone doing their best. It's just been someone trying.
Wow.
And so that was my evil act, is being a bad driver but continuing to drive. And because I gotta.
Your evil act is not surrendering your right to drive.
Yeah, pretty much.
When you should.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just a menace on the road unintentionally. And so that's how I've been the big bad lately.
Man,
It's
that's
just not being a good driver.
wow. My heart goes out to you.
Thank you.
That's a rough life to lead.
Yeah. But I figured that's a segment we could do of Am I the Big Bad, when we talk about little minorly evil things that we've done in our lives. Just like little like, it could be unintentional, or it could be like little like, you know, like little being a little scamp. I mean, if you actually do something like a big bad, like if you kill someone, you probably shouldn't talk about it on the podcast. But like but like little things, you know, like that you get away with or that you do on accident, and you know, just thought that could be a fun segment. So my first thing is I'm a bad driver.
Wow.
And I continue to drive because I have to.
You're such a bad boy.
I am.
An
I'm a
inspiration.
renegade. Yeah, I'm a rebel without a cause because I accidentally forget to use my turn signal. No, I actually do use my turn signal a good bit.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
You don't have to reciprocate at the time. I'm just thinking that it's something you could be part of our repertoire.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I think I've been a pretty good boy lately.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I've been so good. There's things I can't talk about, but overall, I've been great.
Okay, we'll move on.
Yeah, moving on.
Okay, so Bowser.
Yeah, let's just talk about our turtley boy. So I think it was he was first came to the scene in 1985.
Let me look.
Maybe. I know that this nasty boy was originally 85. Yeah, so Bowser enters the scene at 85. He was originally drawn up to be King of the Oxen.
Yes, he was
an ox boy, and apparently his co-workers looked at him and said, "That is not an ox, that is a turtle, my man."
Yeah,
so
Miyamoto just didn't know what an ox was.
Yeah, an ox has shells, right?
Yeah.
So they kind of revamped him, went back to the drawing board, and we've got a boy Bowser, who we know him here as Bowser in the West. Apparently in Japan, he is known as the Demon King.
King of the Koopa. Yeah.
Which is so much scarier.
Yeah, I was blown away when I saw
It's
that.
horrifying. I think it was, hold on, I got his name. What do they call him? I might butcher this, so sorry. Japan, my apologies. Daimao is the word used for it, but it basically means the Demon King.
Wow.
Which is way more terrifying than I ever would have thought.
Bowser.
Yes, so we call him Bowser, the King of the Koopas over here. And the Koopas are cute little turtle boys. So yeah, that's when he showed up. He was actually a pretty gnarly dude for a long time. Kind of a spooky, you know, badass, don't fuck with me villain. He had all the trappings of something that's pretty intense, you know, giant claws, spiked shell, breathes fire, stomps on shit, leader of an army, generally all around pretty evil dude.
Yeah. You know, in his first appearance, it was one of the things that I found out when doing research for this episode was, did you read the thing where in the first game. So in the first game, he's if you don't read the manual, he doesn't have very many lines. Like he's,
I don't even think he had any lines
Right.
until pretty late in the series.
exactly. But in the booklet, it apparently tells you that he didn't only just capture Princess Peach. He apparently turned many of the denizens of the Mushroom Kingdom into brick blocks. So the blocks you're destroying as you go are the denizens of the Mushroom Kingdom that he has turned into brick blocks.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. Do you want to explain how he did that?
No.
For what methods?
Do you know?
It's pretty wild.
Go ahead. Yeah, hit me.
Apparently, Bowser is quite adept at black magic.
Yes. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah.
He used he used a spell, dark sorcery, to transform them. I did not know until very recently that the blocks were people, which Mario
I didn't know
so
that either.
greedily
Yeah,
gobbles
just
up
for
and just
a few
stomps on and
coins.
grinds to dust.
Which that begs the question: does Mario know, or is he complicit, or is he, has he been tricked? We don't know. There's no way of knowing.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I think Mario's just so amped up on drugs and all whatever he's scarfing
Well-
down 24/7. He doesn't know.
Yeah, and Go Games, you've already broken down
Yeah,
how
well,
Mario's
Mario's for
evil.
another podcast, another story,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's got his own shit to work through. But yeah, I thought that was crazy wild that I guess Bowser's like a black magic dude and he does lots of spells and dark sorcery, which partly might be why he changes, like he has so many different forms, so many like final forms, and he's virtually indestructible.
Yeah. Let's should we go down our little criterion to talk about each of the different aspects of Bowser?
Sure.
Okay. I have it here.
Yeah, let's break them down.
So let's start with lore. First of all, yeah, like you already mentioned, he was raised by a witch and was a prophesied king. He was prophesied to become king of the Koopa, and that two twins would give him a lot of trouble, aka the Mario Brothers.
Mhm.
And
He was an orphan boy.
he was an orphan, and he started to try to even before they were. I mean, this is covered in like Yoshi's story, but before they were even born, the Mario Brothers were being targeted by his maternal figure. What's her name? She has a witchy name. I can't remember her name. And I didn't know he had this much history. I always just thought Bowser just was. I just thought he was just this like ominous force from the jump. But he's the prophesied king of the Koopa who has been prophesied to battle with Mario and Luigi basically for eternity. And yeah, and I mean, other than that, he's pretty thin on the lore, I guess, compared to some of the other villains we're going to cover. But I didn't even know that. I just thought that he was just existed. He just always was.
Well, because most creatures and characters in the Mario universe just exist.
Right.
They don't really have much of any kind of backstory or origins. They kind of just, the stork flies them in, or Koopas just are there, or they sprout up, or whatnot. But yeah, I guess Bowser's been prophesied since before the Aeons, and he is a one of the kind, uncontested. Like, he is the leader because nobody can kill him.
Yeah, he's essentially indestructible,
mhm.
which we'll get to with powers. The amount of powers this man has, this turtle has, the mind boggles. I thought he was just fire breath, but then when you actually break him down, all the things he's done, it's insane. Other aspects of his lore, it's confirmed. The Koopa kids, the only one that's actually his offspring is Bowser Jr. All the other 7 are actually
They're just
they've been
followers.
They've been demoted to minions. In the original thing, they were called his kids, but since then they've been retconned to be his minions.
Not, in fact, biological in nature. To which Bowser Jr., it is kind of unknown. The question has never been answered. I think it's extremely unlikely that he is, in fact, the spawn of Bowser and Peach, although there have been some theories. But essentially, there is no answer to where Bowser Jr. comes from. But Bowser is a daddy. He's a father.
He's a single dad trying to make it in this world.
Yeah.
He's trying to raise a son.
He's doing his best.
He is. I don't see any evidence of him being a bad dad. He gets his son involved in his hobbies, which is conquering the Mushroom Kingdom and beating Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Bowser Jr. loves him, looks up to him a ton.
That speaks volumes,
it does.
I would say.
Yeah. So he's a good dad. We at least have that. He has that going for him. He's a single dad, no mother in the picture. I mean, he's doing his best.
How is he with his underlings though? I don't know too much. Like, is he a good?
I've never
Is he like a
seen
good leader? Is he just iron fist? Like, does he just throw people into the fire pit just if they failed him? Or
Well, he certainly gives off the vibe of being ruling with an iron fist, but I've never actually seen him. I don't have any recollection of him being cruel to his underlings, though that might not be the case. Listener, if you're listening and you want to correct us, by the way, we don't have an email yet. Maybe we'll develop an email by the time this gets edited, and you can
we'll slip one in there.
Slip one in. Let us know any fun Bowser facts or any corrections that you may have to our research.
I'm trying to think about. I mean, I don't even know if it's. We can talk about the films. However, I don't know if there's a lot of weight to put into them.
If you can remember the films, please educate me, because I haven't watched the films. I know Bowser's like just a tycoon, right? He's just like a businessman.
In the old 90, like 92, 98, I don't remember.
Oh, I'm talking about that one. No, are you talking about the recent one? I did watch that one recently. The cartoon.
I'm thinking, so I don't remember much about the old 90s one, which I need to rewatch that one. But I think he's like the president.
We should rewatch it for the podcast.
In the old one?
We can rewatch it tonight.
Oh my gosh.
We can get off this recording and go watch it.
Maybe we'll rewatch that and get mad because it's so bad. But I'm thinking about the new one. Did he ever like get pissed off and like take it out on?
I feel like he did. I feel like I can picture him being evil.
I think he might be more evil in the new animated movie than he's been recently in the past several games, because he's gotten more tame in the games. But I think the movie went pretty hard on Bowser, like being evil.
I'm gonna watch a clip and see if we see if they're
okay. I'm trying to think more specifically to his own people. Though.
Right,
like,
I know.
I'm cruel to his followers.
I'm trying to see. He does level an entire ice city with his fire breath in the movie. So someone just like pointed out that Princess Peach hates him, and he didn't destroy that person. Oh, he does. He does kill a Koopa who. Oh shit! I just realized this is a parody video.
I was about to say, did I just hear fucking?
Yeah, no, this is.
Did someone just say you fucking dick?
But it is the actual scenes from the movie, so I can see what he does. Okay, so he tortures Luigi.
That was one thing I wanted to bring up if we're going to talk about the movies. He's pretty super into torture, which that's fucked up.
Yeah, he's definitely. So in the movie, he does at least flame one of his Koopas.
Okay.
For like speaking out against him, basically saying that Peach doesn't like him because he's in love with Peach. So I don't think he's good to his people. I think he's only good to his son that we've seen,
Junior.
Although
he's pretty good to Peach, but that's just because he wants her to marry him.
Well, yeah.
He's infatuated with her for some reason.
Yeah, that's not really like a point in his favor. I think a lot of villains are pretty like good with their love or lust interests. I don't think that's like a point in his favor. And honestly, a lot of villains are also very good with their kids. So far, I'm not really sure he's really scoring any points.
So he's only okay. So we've got some negative points for let's see. In the movie, he's super into torture.
He does torture
his enemies for information. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
We know he wants world domination. We've seen him burn down the ice city.
He does a lot of terrible things in the movie.
Didn't he try to capture the whole galaxy in Mario Galaxy? Was that his deal?
He does. He frequently like. That's one thing that's so interesting about him. It's just kind of a Nintendo thing in general. Well, not really. It's kind of a Mario thing in general, where the stakes can be anything, all the way from in Super Mario Hotel, which is like I think a CDI game. He tries to turn all of Mushroom Kingdom into a series of hotel chains.
Okay.
All the way to like trying to control all of the galaxy or reality. And his powers kind of seem to scale based on the game's ambitions of like what he wants to do. So
okay, how he's feeling that day. I know there was one plot point. I don't know which game it was called. But why? He wanted to melt Antarctica?
Yes, with hair dryers.
I guess to like maybe he wanted to flood the earth, like just fuck the environment. Like that's pretty evil though. No matter how stupid the ploy,
he could have just waited for us to do it. It seems kind of like, so yeah, he's definitely evil. His lore is fairly thin, but it's but there's something to reason. Have you heard the theory that the Mario series is actually a series of plays because in Super
no.
Mario 3, I think 3, like the beginning is like it opens up with curtains.
Okay.
And then when you run past them, when you finish the stage, you enter like basically backstage. So there's a theory that they're actually all just actors, and this is why Bowser shows up for friendly things. He shows up to race karts. He shows up to play tennis. He shows up for these things that aren't explicitly
Okay, when they're out of the
evil.
studio off the clock.
Yeah, they're just buddies. They're just actors. Now, all of this is really just because Nintendo wants their mascots to do what they want them to do. I mean, it doesn't really like actually mean anything, but a fun angle to consider that maybe he's not evil at all. Maybe he's just a 9 to 5.
I could partially buy it. Like, I mean, if you're so good at your job, sometimes that affects your real life in a very negative way.
It's true.
I'm thinking about the the poor lad who played two characters. The one guy who played Joffrey from Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
and the other kid who played Malfoy in Harry Potter. I'm pretty sure IRL, when people would see these kids in person, they fucking hated them.
So you're
Which
saying
is,
that.
they said, "Fuck you, Joffrey."
So you're saying that Bowser is an actor, but that his role has defined him so thoroughly that he is turned evil
they
himself,
think he's evil.
or that we think he's evil.
No, people like. I think maybe he's a good guy.
maybe
If
so.
he's going out for a weekend at the track.
Yeah. I mean, how bad could he be?
Now they are throwing spiked shells and at each other,
But so are the good guys. So is Mario and Luigi. And no one suffers any serious injuries from any of these.
That's true.
So I think we got to consider that when we think about the fact that he may actually not be actually evil. Whatever feats he has, whatever powers he has, whatever horrible things he's done, it could just be in service to his role.
You're right, but that is entirely hinging on the fact that this is indeed a play.
Well, but we don't know.
If it's not a play, boy, that's a pretty big oversight on our part.
Well, yeah, and so much.
Because there's some really dark realities that have come to fruition.
And there's so much writing on our on our ranking of these people. Okay, let's go for that was lore. Let's do aesthetic. How does Bowser look?
Oh, dude, Bowser almost doesn't get more badass.
Fucking iconic.
So cool. Even just the classic Bowser look, but even all his different styles and changes.
He always looks so good.
Is it not like he can? And I wonder if it's due to the black magic, but like his size, his physical size changes pretty.
Oh, yeah.
He's depicted in gargantuan form.
He's like the size of a galaxy.
I don't know what's going on with that, but
It's his magic. It's his black magic. He's sometimes he's the size of an actual galaxy or world or castle. Like in Super Mario Wonder, he's like the size of a castle. And then sometimes he's like a little bit bigger than Mario. It's like he's just as big as he needs to be, baby. But yeah, but his look is so iconic. Like he obviously he's a mascot for Nintendo at this point, and they know they nailed it. But even in the original Super Mario world, like his color scheme contrasts Mario so well. Like he just pops on screen so well. And he's kind of like an amalgamation of like all the other like Koopas, like with the green shell and the orange skin. He just evokes that like classic dragon look, but then with them throwing him with like a turtle. He's really unique. Like there's not really many other like dragon turtles in fiction or monsters really. I mean, I'm sure there are. I'm sure he's not the only one, but
he's extremely unique, and he's also, for the most part, very simplistic,
Yes.
which makes him so iconic. Like he just really does. He looks like the pinnacle of a mascot.
Yeah.
Like he's just such a good look. Everything about him, all his features, freaking awesome. What's your favorite looking Bowser, if you had to pick one?
Well, let's see. If I'm going to pureness, pick one. I can't. This is a running thing, as I can't pick one of anything.
Listen, they don't have to know
They don't
over
have to
there
know.
at Go Games. You could be you over here.
Well, me is just not being able to pick one. Okay, I think it's really cool. I will just pick one.
Okay.
I'll be a good boy and pick one. And I think it's Super Smash Brothers Melee? No, or Brawl, I think. Which one? Melee is the GameCube. That's the one everyone loves. And Brawl was the Wii. right? I can't.
I don't know. I've only
Okay,
played the
I'm
current
ge-
one and the 64 one.
Really?
Yeah, I've never played the GameCube ones or the ones in
Oh
between.
my gosh. Okay, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. I'm getting in the weeds. He has an ultimate form. I think this is his ult attack in all of them after the original, where he turns into Giga Bowser and he becomes weird.
Whoa.
He becomes weirdly realistic looking, and it's kind of terrifying. Like his color palette turns away from like the bright cartoony, it becomes like
Oh, it's horrifying.
oh, you're looking at it, yeah.
Oh.
He's scary. He's like an actual monster, and it's such a huge swerve. So that's probably the most interesting version of him that I've seen.
That is extremely scary.
Yeah. And like, if you think about it, that's what Mario's actually looking at. It makes him a lot less like fun.
I can't even tell exactly what it is. I think it's just everything's a little bit sharper, a little bit more defined.
Yeah. And the palette and the color palette's muted. It's not as bright. And so you get these like it looks more like what you would imagine like a weird dragon turtle looking like in real life. I mean, it's not photorealistic or anything, but and his teeth get sharper and he looks more crazed. Like his like yeah. So that's probably my favorite iteration of Bowser because it's so different.
Wow. That's very good. I was going to go with just the classic N64 Bowser.
Yeah,
that's the one that I remember the most. He's got
I-
like the chokers and the chains and just looks like super dope.
If I didn't limit myself to one, that was going to be my other one, is Super
Okay.
Mario 64. But I limited myself to one. So thank you for
went
saying that.
you went for the terrifying Bowser.
Yeah, I went. Yeah, I
the
did.
horrifying.
Yeah,
ones.
I went for the body horror Bowser.
Yes.
BHB.
Oh, but he's had some wild forms. Have you seen Bowser's depiction in the old cartoon show? Like, I think from like
No.
the 90s or 80s.
Let me look this up.
It's awful. I'm so sorry for what you're about to see.
Okay.
I don't remember what the show was called, but it's very old. And
Oh
they
my
done fucked up.
gosh.
They done fucked
Oh my
up.
gosh.
It looks like if Donkey Kong created Bowser and mixed him with the what do they call the
His colors aren't
Crocs.
even right. It's so bad. Yeah, the King K. Rool in the
yeah, but what are the he's very crocodile looking.
yeah, he looks terrible.
He's like dark green.
What
it
were
looks awful. And this is Bowser.
what were they thinking?
I
Like,
don't know.
like I get that we at the time they probably didn't have like a 3D model to look
This
at.
was
but
the
you could have
cartoon
You could
equivalent.
have at least gotten his colors right.
This was a cartoon equivalent to the live action film in the 90s. They just like said, whatever the fuck your shit is,
license
we're
out
gonna
the
do it our
name.
own. Yeah, like
That's terrible. They did my boy dirty.
it's awful. It's
That's
so bad. I think an honorable mention just because it's so drastic, but
Oh,
so cool
You
and so
can't pick
scary.
one, huh?
What? Don't get on my case about this. This is different.
Uh-huh.
I think Dry Bowser,
Oh yeah,
fucking rules.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and in one
just straight up bones, no flesh, no skin. Like
it's again, if you picture him not cartoony, kind of horrifying.
Uh-huh.
I think it's I want to say it's the Mario Brothers Wii U. I can't remember which one. One of them, Dry Bowser comes from like him being dipped in lava,
yeah.
and then all of his skin gets peeled off, and he
It's
comes back
horrifying.
as a skeleton zombie to kill you. It's terrible.
Just powered by black magic and hatred.
Yeah. It's also interesting that Bowser sometimes joins the party. I don't know. Like Bowser's just so flexible.
Sometimes we get him as like a kind of a hero.
Yeah, like in Super Mario
Hmm.
RPG and stuff. He's like I think it's that game where he joins, or maybe it's Paper Mario. I'm getting my RPGs confused. He joins the
I
party.
think it's RPG.
Well, because in Paper Mario you fight him. So RPG, he joins the party, but he tries to tell everyone that you're joining him. It's like he's kind of a klutzy like loser. Like he just molds into whatever Nintendo needs him to be, which is kind of fun. Like unlike say like Ganondorf, who like
Oh, could you imagine him?
Yeah.
Like, Link, can I join
Yeah,
you?
no, you could-
Never.
you couldn't pull that off with Ganon. Like, he has to be self-serious all the time. And with Bowser, they have this villain that they can have the latitude to be, if he needs to be imposing, you get like Giga Bowser and you get like whatever. If he needs to be like kind of like cartoony evil, you have that like in spades.
Yeah.
And if he needs to join the party or be like play a Mario, like be in a golf cart, whatever, not golf cart, a go-kart, Mario Kart, he can do that. You know, he's just he kind of like is a jack of all trades of villains. He can kind of be whatever flavor Nintendo needs him to
Mhm.
be.
Does this represent like a level of like a higher level of villainous intellect for those who decide that if they want to bother, like try to team up with their their nemesis in order to take on a greater evil. Because not all villains would do that, like you mentioned with Ganondorf. Whereas Bowser might see this new threat as like, okay, I really need to deal with this if I want to take over the world. So maybe Mario can work with me on here.
Right. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, perhaps.
I don't know, but Bowser's done some pretty fucking dumb stuff.
Yeah, cunning doesn't seem to be one of his strong suits, really. He kind of relies on brute force.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I think it's just the way maybe the lore and the games have taken him over the years where he's just shifted internally as a character, because the early years, I think he was just pure evil.
Yeah. One note.
But he's, more and more and more, they're kind of changing him to be a little bit more family friendly, a little bit more kind of a goofball that we can love and laugh at, but still he's like, oh, up to your old tricks, Bowser. So I don't know. I mean, maybe he's not quite as evil as he used to be.
Yeah, he's gotten soft a little bit. He's gotten
except for the movie that just dropped,
torture and
where he tortures Luigi.
Yeah, and kills his minions and stuff.
Yeah, and levels a city.
Yeah.
And yeah, he goes to the Bronx at the end, and I'm pretty sure he's like, I'm going to kill everyone
Bronx.
here.
Yeah.
Like,
bye Bronx.
Yeah, I don't know. He's all over the place.
He's whatever Nintendo needs him to be.
That's true.
He's kind of like a jack of all trades of villains.
Yeah.
If Nintendo needs a silly guy, they got him. If they need him to be like actually evil or imposing, they can do that. He just does whatever they need him to do.
That's true. That's true. Okay, let's talk about Bowser's powers. Let's talk about his skill set, what he brings to the table that's unique to him.
So yeah, this was the thing that I was most blown away by when I was looking up fun facts about Bowser. Was the incredible. We already talked about how he was raised with black magic and is a master of black magic.
Mm-hmm.
But when I looked up and saw all the feats attributed to Bowser, it's bananas.
Really?
Yeah.
Do tell. Okay.
I'm just gonna read this list. This is from his character profile on his wiki. Super strength, kind of goes without saying.
Yeah.
He's really big and strong. Nigh invulnerability, which we talked about. He's been dipped in. I mean, he survived everything. He survived the.
If you're reduced to bones and you're still walking around, that's pretty wild.
And he comes back every time. It doesn't matter what Mario does to him.
That's Godzilla level of strength there, of power.
And according to this Wikipedia wiki, it survived just about everything: being crushed, massive falls, being submerged in lava, bombs, falling into a sun that he created, falling into a black hole, and even the destruction of the universe.
What the fuck?
Sharp teeth, sharp claws, pyrokinesis. Not only can he breathe fire, he can manipulate it in a bunch of different ways.
That's so badass.
I'm gonna skip some of these less boring. These are a little bit more boring things. He's got a spiky shell, as we all know. Okay, dark magic. With this dark magic, he's been shown to have feats of transmutation, electrokinesis, teleportation. Bowser Crush creates a giant green Mecha Koopa to stampede over his opponents. Okay, illusory hats, so he can create illusions. Gravity inversion. He can flip gravity upside down.
Whoa.
Endless distance. Bowser will distort and manipulate the very fabric of space itself to create what seems to be an infinite amount of distance, like in the stairs in Super Mario 64. When you're I don't know if you remember that, when you go up the infinite stairs. Bowser Curse will place a curse on his target that will allow him to control their movements. Poison gas. Terrorize, which lets him, he can control ghosts. He has multiple magic weapons. He can do basically anything. At one point, he got a hold of the Star Rod, and he basically became omnipotent. His vehicle, the little clown vehicle in Super Mario World. Remember the
one that flies with the little propeller?
That can travel between stars, and apparently can turn things into stone. He's incredibly powerful.
I'm sorry. When you go through this whole list and stack them, is there anything that can take this guy on?
What
the fuck?
I think he's been towards the top for a while.
What? This is wild.
There's a lot of characters like this where once you dive, like Kirby. Kirby could probably beat him. Kirby's
so.
He's extremely powerful. Galaxy Reactor, his greatest invention. The reactor harnesses the power of a grand star to cause a universal collapse, destroying the very fabric of the universe and erasing everything before recreating the cosmos in any way Bowser desires.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, like, he is as powerful as basically Nintendo needs him to be. Like, if it's Super Mario Galaxy, he's a galactic or universal threat. If it's a hotel chain, he's a bad hotel manager. Like, he just does whatever like Nintendo needs him to do. He's just the all-around villain.
That is wild. He is an absolute, he's a god. He's a deity.
He is. I mean,
and sometimes
he's
he's
a demon.
bored and he wants to pretend to be a hotel concierge.
That's right. So that is wild.
Like,
to think that if he always has all this power available to
he's
him
just
in
like,
every iteration.
Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna, not do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I need a break. I'm gonna fucking play tennis, and I'm gonna
Holy smokes,
and kind of just be okay at tennis. Like, does he have these powers available to him all the time? Like, if he can rewrite the fabric of reality, why does he ever lose at Mario Kart? The question, the begs the question,
Yeah.
I mean, the boy is powerful. He's a juicy guy. He's a juicy.
It's a real juicy guy. Oh my gosh. Dude, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not good at hiding his tail, though.
No.
Really bad. Not one of his skill sets.
Also, like, one of the things that's so, like, again, just flexible about him is that how you defeat him can vary from, like, having to collect the power of the entire universe through stars, or just, like, toss him into a bomb.
That's so true.
Or, like, drop him into a pit of lava, even though he's already a fire-breathing dragon. Like, you know, so, again, like, it's just Nintendo doing whatever they need to do, but, like, in any given game. But if you stack up all of his powers at once, he's fucking unstoppable.
That's true.
He's like up there with like One Punch Man or something. Like he's insanely powerful.
I mean, it's pretty insane. Although until we see an example where until Nintendo puts out a game where they want to stack all of his powers at once.
Okay, so this is something we need to establish now. If part of our podcast is going to be who would win in a fight, there's a very like devoted community devoted to this question. There's a subreddit for it. There's lots of YouTube channels for it. And so the question you ask is, are we talking composite Bowser or are we talking a specific Bowser? And I think for the sake of this podcast, it would get too in the weeds to pick out specific.
You think we should always
do
what do we have at our disposal?
Right. I think we should always do composite.
Right. Okay.
I mean, maybe you can make exceptions for like because sometimes characters have like one random one-off feat that like doesn't track. But I think by and large we should do composite just for sake of simplicity, because so we can look at like a list of like all the things they've done. Because if you get into the weeds of like, well, okay, but this one doesn't, he only use one power at a time or whatever, that gets really tricky for future.
Okay.
Unless something has been declared non-canon by an entity or something like if an entity says like, oh, this is just a what if universe, or like if Nintendo says like, oh, this is just a what if scenario, or oh, this was actually like a fanfic or whatever, like of a thing, like, none of that counts. But like if it's in canon happening in universe, I think we have to allow it.
Yeah.
And I don't think, again, like there's people make like hour-long videos on who would wins or whatever, so I don't think we're gonna get that in depth. But I think that we should generally just consider composite versions of these characters if we're gonna do like if we're gonna make a tier list or whatever of.
I think that's fair. Total power level.
And our tier list, is it going to be who's the most evil or who would win in a fight? I think we originally said who would win in a fight, like who's the most powerful. But are we going to do who's the most evil?
I think we should have an evil rating.
Okay.
For every character.
Okay.
And then we should also have like, a power level face off. Like,
okay,
who's going to come out on top in a scrap?
So we have a tier list of power. We have a ranking of evil.
Mm-hmm.
So like two people could be a 10 on evil, but very different power levels.
Yes.
Okay.
All Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Oh, we got a little sidetracked. Pop culture influence was another thing we wrote down on our list. This guy he's the video game. He's the video game antagonist.
I feel like there's everything to say that there's not much to say about
He's one of the most
Bowser.
one of the most recognizable characters of all time.
Yeah.
He's driven. He's one of Nintendo's hugest mascots, except for like Mario and Link. He's probably third. He just is video. He is synonymous with video games. Like his influence cannot be overstated. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, we have Mario and Link on the protagonist side as the biggest names, but I think hands down Bowser will always number one, be the top like thing that comes into the majority of every person's head when asked, like, name a video game villain or who's
right, of
an
course.
evil. Like it's always going to be Bowser.
Yeah,
Bowser trumps. He's the number one big bad guy, top evil dude in video game history.
okay,
For sure.
I agree.
You mentioned pop culture. There is one thing that is kind of wild. I guess it's exactly what I was just saying. Did you know hold on, so Bowser has been officially named the greatest video game villain by Guinness Book of World Records.
Really?
In 2013, under Guinness video game records, Bowser was ranked number one greatest video game villain.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think
So,
he deserves it. I mean,
I think it's like official. Like there it is.
I mean, I think that there's no one else I can think of that really competes with him in terms of like cultural influence. I mean, there's lots of other great video game villains, but none that stand as tall as him.
I mean, we've got big ones. We've got Ganondorf. We've got Dr. Robotnik. But really, like, they pale in universal knowledge in comparison.
There's
with
people
Bowser.
who wouldn't even be able to like tell you what Ganondorf looks like, especially since Ganondorf. That's the other thing about Bowser is his design, with maybe some exceptions, but like his core design is very consistent. Some of the other villains, I'm thinking of Ganon specifically, is so different from game to game that you know his name, you know what he is, but you may not, your drawing of him might be completely different than someone else's because there's so many iterations of him. It's kind of true with Ridley too from Metroid, although always kind of a giant pterodactyl thing. But there's like Mecha Ridley and all these other things. But Bowser is pretty much usually Bowser. He might transform into something greater or different, but he at least makes an appearance in his classic Bowser. Like he's like the Coca-Cola logo. Like he's so recognizable.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Want to figure out how evil this dude is?
Sure.
How bad this boy is?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to go to, how do we want to start criterizing these? Are we going to
Criterizing
1 through 100?
I think
50?
1 through 10.
1 through 10.
1 through 10.
We think
1 through 50?
a 10. I don't know.
How many scales do you have that go 1 through 50?
I don't know. 50 could be good.
They're all the same. I mean, you just multiply by whatever you got. They're all the same.
Okay.
So 10 sounds more clean.
Okay. Well, 10's good if we're going with like a point system. 100's good if we're going with like a percentage system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you understand that if you like an 8.8 is the same as an 88%.
Yeah, but it's totally different though if we're going point system or
no,
percent system.
Whatever makes you happy. It doesn't matter.
Let's go through 1 through 10. All right. How bad is this boy? Man. All right. Taking all things into consideration, I still think he's a pretty fucking gnarly dude. I think I'm gonna put Bowser maybe at an 8.
An 8 on the evil scale.
An 8 on the evil scale out of 10. 10 being most absolutely black-hearted, absolute evil. 1 being just an average Joe.
Okay, so this is my question. Is 5 neutral and 1 is good, or is 1 still evil but just slightly?
1 is still evil but slightly. Like,
okay.
1 is the guy you don't want to invite over for drinks when you have a coworker's party.
So 1
is kind of annoying.
So 1 is not like good, 5 is neutral. Okay, got it. Okay. So if that's the case, I honestly, there's been so many iterations and I'm taking every iteration into account. He is, I'm going to say a 4 on the evil scale. Because because think about it. You have this guy. His most evil is very evil. I'm gonna destroy all of reality and rewrite it as I see fit. Very evil.
It's pretty fucked up.
That's really evil. Also, you guys want to play some cart? You guys want a cart? Also, I can play some tennis. Yeah. Oh, I love golf. Like he's like oh, you need me to join you for a little bit on your team? Yeah, I can do that. Just for this game though.
Doesn't that go to show his disassociativeness though? To like his disconnection?
But that's not evil. So just because I mean, like, that's,
you got a point.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't think he's actually all that evil when you take all things considered. He is as evil as Nintendo needs him to be at any given moment, which is a lot less pure evil than, say, like, I don't know, a Norman Bates or a Palpatine or like whoever. Then like some of the more like truly like, no, there are no redeeming qualities. This person's pure evil, cartoonishly evil. And I don't think he's that. I think he's, whether it's due to dissociative episodes, whether it's just due to marketing, whatever it is, whether it's because it's actually all a play and he's really just an actor, he's not actually that evil. He's a 4.
Damn. You're making me look like an idiot.
Yeah,
I think you're right. But I can't change my answer.
You can't change it.
I'm standing on. No, I can't. I don't want to change my answer because I think he tortured Luigi. Come on, he tortured Luigi.
He doesn't torture that dweeb. If Luigi was here, I can't say. No, I'm kidding.
Oh no. Okay. All right. So yeah, an 8 and a 4. Should we average our things out?
I think that's good. I think that's the best we should
an
do.
Official rating.
Yes, I think that's what we should do. I like that plan. So,
okay. So that's a 6.
Yep. So
he's a 6 on the evil scale. I'm into it.
Okay. I'm going to put him.
Make a note. We'll get a graph going.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I have him on. He's somewhere on this list. There he is.
Wow.
And then power scale, he's our first one. So he's at the top of the who would win list.
Damn. Yep. Top of the bracket.
And he's going to be hard to unseat. We may have started with someone too powerful and also too iconic.
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll have to be. Well, I already know who we're doing next episode. I don't think they're going to make the cut. But it's going to be a great fight. It'll be a surprise, listeners. I don't know. What do you... If you were in traffic, could you take him?
In a fight?
Yeah.
We're at the who. Could I take him in a fight? Absolutely not. He's a reality warper. No. Bowser would. If I cut Bowser off,
he'd turn your ass to stone with his stupid flying clown ship.
He would kill me in like 8 different ways in a second. Like I would not even have time to make peace with my god. Like I would be fucking done.
Yeah, it's over.
No, yeah. So I could not take him in a fight. Most of the villains, I think the answer to that's going to be no, if I'm being honest. I'll try. Although, okay, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Here's
Bowser does get beat in very easy ways sometimes. So I guess it depends what mood he's in. If he's in a all I have to do is jump on his head mood, I'm pretty spry.
Okay.
I might be able to bounce on his head.
I was going to say, so you can be creative and you can do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I'll say... I'm getting a little older. I'd love to say I could jump on that fool's head, but I'd probably pull fucking back out.
Yeah. I mean, it's more interesting to think of ways I could beat him. Reality is that if he wanted me dead, I would die because I can't jump like Mario. Do I get prep time? Do we get prep time for these fights that we need to establish? Is this like in an open field, we're dropped in and both people are bloodlusted fights, in which case I lose? Do I get to plan? Because I don't think Bowser's very smart. I don't think that's one of his things. Like, he's not very good at plans.
Here's what I think.
He makes plans, and they're always bad and fail.
I think the situation of confrontation is going to be unique for every episode. In this one, it's pre-decided. You cut him off in traffic, so it's going down impromptu.
Okay, because
so that's the way this is happening.
Yeah, Bowser destroys me and my car instantly. Yeah, okay. There's no hope.
Oh, cool. Yeah, same. There's nothing. What am I gonna do?
You can join him.
I would join him.
Yeah.
Now, whether he would take me, I don't know. I got a lot of people to sell out.
You'd make a good Goomba.
I would make a. Thanks. Thanks, man.
Sorry. Don't read into it.
All right. Well, I think that's, I don't know, kind of a loosey-goosey, kind of a light official ep one.
Yeah.
But
I think we covered great ground today. I think we made progress.
For sure. Hey, we've got several brackets filled out.
That's right.
it's only
He's
going to
gonna-
get more intense.
We
from
should have
here.
started with someone weaker because he's going to be sitting at number 1 on the who would win thing for a while, I think. But it's going to foster some interesting discussion because, well, I'll just leave it at that because yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
I don't know. I do think, although he may be unbelievably powerful, he's got a lot of weaknesses, and he
Yes,
doesn't
he
think
does.
well on the fly.
Exactly. The fact that he's beat by Mario, who is not a reality warper, and he only gets a lot of his powers under certain conditions.
True.
Like only if he has possession of certain things or whatever. So he's not actually omnipotent all the time necessarily. I think there's people that can beat him because a lot of his powers are conditional. So
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's it. That was fun. So thanks for listening to Big Bad.
yes.
I will drop an email up in here for you guys to message the show if you want to see any particular villains. If you want to hear us talk about them, shoot us an email, and we will consider it. I'm not making any promises.
We have a long list of villains.
Yeah, I mean the list is endless, and we will get to them all eventually.
I mean, honestly though, like, yeah, you know what? If you like the podcast, I'll say it. Q's a coward. If you want to, in these early stages, if you want us to cover a villain, we'll cover it. Full stop. Like, what? Our 3 friends who listen to the thing are going to send one in, and we're like, sorry, we're too swamped. No, at this stage, at episode 1, if you send in a villain, we'll cover it.
We'll do whatever you want, baby.
We spent 30 minutes reading about Bowser. I can spend 30 minutes reading about, like, I don't know, Rita from Power Rangers. Ooh, she'd be a good one.
Oh, that's good. That's good. All right. Yeah, well, that's it. So, cool.
Until next time, stay bad.
Is that what it was? Stay
That's
bad.
what we said, yeah. That's what we said last time.
Stay bad.
No.
So cool.
Okay, we can come up. What do you want? Let's figure it out right here, right now.
Okay.
In front of you, me, the listener, the eyes of God. What's our sign out going to be?
Stay wicked, naughty boys.
No, you don't need to make it all creepy.
I can't do it. I gotta think about it. But
Stay bad works for now.
stay bad is good.
It works for now, at least.
All right.
Stay bad.
Stay bad.
Okay.
Bad.
Stop saying it like that. Till next time, stay bad.